And we're live. Today we're going back to Brunei, to an amazing place, the largest water town in the world. So I'm really excited to take you there. But before we begin, let me just show you where Brunei is. So Brunei is a very small nation in Southeast Asia. The name, and you can see it there at the bottom, that little island down there, that's in Borneo. Let's take a little bit of a closer look. And in Borneo is Brunei. And today we're going to be exploring this place you can see in yellow, Kampong Ayer. This is the ancient water village. Actually, the name Kampong Ayer translates to water village. And you can see it here. It's adjacent to the capital of Brunei, which is called Bandar Seri Begawan. Hey, Carly. And it's currently home to 13,000 residents, making it the largest water village in the world. And we're going to be walking, welcome Carly, welcome Jennifer. We're going to be walking along the boardwalks. There's about 30, if you measure them all, there's about 38 kilometers of boardwalks. Now, in order to get across to the water village, you just need to be in the capital, and there's water taxis that will take you for about $1 Bruneian dollar, and that's how I got there. So let's begin our journey, and we're gonna start with a very funny sign. So that's just some context about where we're going. To those who've just joined, hi Lethargy, hi Catherine, and if you're in the chat, come say hi. This is how we're gonna begin. I just want to talk about this sign. Hey Susan, it says here, caution, crocodile area. Now we are in, remember we are on the island of Borneo. Borneo is where you find a lot of wildlife, and even living here on the water village, you have to be careful because there are crocodiles in the river. Okay, so let's begin. I see a couple of you just joined, so I'm just going to give a quick intro before I start the video. So we're going to be visiting the largest water village in the world, Kampong Ayer, and its name translates to water village. It's located in a small nation in Southeast Asia called Brunei, which is located on the island of Borneo. Kampong Ayer lies on the Brunei River. That's what we can see right now. And adjacent to it, where we are there. I'm not quite sure where we're going to start. I think we may even take one of the taxis that go across at the end of the tour, so you'll get a feeling for what it's like to live and how people move around on this little water village. And it's about a 1-minute ride to the capital, Bandar Seri Begawan, and is currently home to about 13,000 residents. So let's enjoy it. We're going to be walking along the boardwalks that connect the different villages together, and let's begin. So, welcome Neil. Kampong Ayer is the world's biggest settlement on stilts and has been in existence for more than 1,000 years. And here we are looking at the Kampong Ayer Cultural and Tourism Gallery. Now, I'm very thankful to this museum because they have a wealth of information there, and this is what I've used in the research what I'm going to talk about today about this water village. Yeah, so Kampong, there you can see Bandar Begawan, the capital. That's where we were last week on our tour. Welcome, Diane. So if you're coming, definitely check out that museum. It explains the history, the 1,000-year-old history of Kampong Ayer. Yeah, so Kampong is the world's biggest settlement on stilts and has been in existence for more than 1,000 years. Archaeological findings reveal that Kampong Ayer has regularly shifted its location for comfort, safety, and security of its inhabitants, until finally setting in its current emplacement adjacent to the capital of Brunei. These shifts did not negatively affect the settlement, but instead helped it expand and become the settlement center, commercial and administrative center of Brunei, until a shift to the mainland during the early 20th century AD, which we'll talk about more at the end. Kampong Ayer was mentioned by foreign visitors to Brunei. The Chinese arrived during the 10th century AD and were followed by the Europeans during the 16th century. The titles such as the Venice of the East or Floating City reflect the distinctiveness and importance of Kampong Ayer during that time. Kampong Ayer now serves as a landmark for Brunei. The distinctiveness of Kampong Ayer still mesmerizes Brunei's foreign visitors, and the settlement has become one of the country's major tourist attractions. Welcome. So let's talk about trade before the 14th century here. So archaeological findings prove that Kampong Ayer has existed for more than 1,000 years. Traces of settlement discovered along the banks of the Brunei River reveal that houses use construction materials such as palm, mango trees, and leaves for the roofs and walls. So they used existing plants that were growing along the river. Now, some of the economic activities that have been undertaken here for the last 1,000 years include fishing, weaving, even gold crafting. Villagers have formed business relationships with foreign traders and exchanged jungle products for foreign goods. And so we've got some early records, Chinese records. The Chinese were the first to come to Brunei. Welcome, Evelyn. Welcome. So the Song dynasty, that was from 960 to 1279 AD. Those historians in the Song dynasty recorded that Brunei, that they had formed business relationships with China, and they were doing trade with Brunei. And in the 13th century, there was a historian called Chow Ju Ka, who recorded that Brunei had a population of 10,000. It was a commercial center and port, and its people exchanged jungle products for ceramics, gold, silver, and silk. Now, prior to trade and the arrival of foreign traders, the local community used natural materials made from leaves, wood, stone, and clay. They used stone, pestle, and mortar, rattan, bamboo, wooden trays, clay pots, and large jars. Foreign traders introduced ceramic stoneware, porcelain, tools made from metal, which became indispensable to the lives of the community. The introduction of foreign materials such as iron and brass used for kitchen utensils, weapons, and tools resulted in the local community becoming skillful in crafting of iron and brass appliances. And here you can see along the river, some of these houses are so beautifully decorated and colorful. This beautiful blue one, we'll come up to a couple more. Now you got to be careful when you're here, just where you're taking your step, because there's about 38 kilometers of a boardwalk, but the wood is in different states of repair. So let's talk about handicrafts. The Brunei people are skillful in various handicrafts, and in the 13th century, Chao Ju Ke recorded, that's the Chinese historian, recorded the use of gold woven cloth and gold accessories. Ships and small boats were used for daily transport, and archaeological remains discovered indicate various industries, from wood weaving looms, and as well as mounds for crafting iron, brass, and gold. Other remains of woodworking activities are ornaments and carvings of fish, masks, earrings, and cleaver handles. Now, this village, look at, oh, I love this little house, this little village house. Look at that artwork. We love cats. Let's talk. Look at those fish. Talking about fishing. Let's talk about fishing. Early Brunei society was involved in fishing, of course, on the water, which became a traditional occupation and is still being practiced today. This catch was then exchanged for agricultural products, and the Chinese historian wrote that Chinese traders sold a variety of goods here at the Brunei port, and also sold tin weights that were used for drag nets. This is what I love about this this water village, is all the art and how some of these houses have just been beautifully painted, and just in its imperfection, it just looks perfect. Just love all the colors that they've used. Yeah, Neil, good. You don't want you're going to fall in the water if that happens. In the 14th and 16th century, that's when the Europeans started coming. Kampong, Ayer continued to expand with a large population centered on the Koto Batu area. So there were with these two settlements, one by the river for commoners and another on land where the Sultan's palace and houses for state dignitaries were located. The houses were simple in design and closely packed together and used local construction materials. Local traders used to travel to both Chinese and traveled as far as Malacca. Malacca is also a beautiful historic town in Malaysia. So local traders would travel as far as Malacca and even southern China, using both Chinese and Muslim currencies. It was at this time that Brunei society, especially the townspeople, began to get introduced to Islam, which is now the main religion in Brunei. Now let's talk about Western records of Brunei. So in the 15th century, it was indicated that Kampong Ayer was an important district in its time. According to an Italian historian, it was dubbed the Venice of the East, or the floating city. The city was built on water and at that time contained 25,000 families, which lived in the houses made of wood. Now, similar to some other, say, Southeast Asian countries, if you've ever been to Thailand, you would have seen this. Trade in Kampong Ayer was dominated by women in small boats. These women placed their wares at the helm of the boat, wore big hats to shield them from the heat of the sun and the rain, and they would trade among each other. So if you've ever been to one of those floating villages in Thailand, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I love this house. Isn't it so beautiful? Double story on stilts in the water, and so colorful and beautiful. So this was Brunei. This was Brunei for a large part of their history. But let's talk about the 19th century, because that's when things started to change. During the height of the Brunei Sultanate until the end of the 19th century, Kampong Ayer was the administrative center due to its commercial activities and role as an important port. The Sultan of Brunei built his palace here on the water, and the state dignitaries and ordinary people also set up home here. The throne room was one of the main offices for the government and an audience hall for people, and also a place for trials and offenders was here, all on the water. Lynn says, can't imagine walking your dog at night on here. Yeah, well, when I was there, I saw dogs and cats wandering around, so people do have pets. And historically, several important agreements between the Brunei government and other parties have been signed here on this beautiful, picturesque water village. So let's talk about getting around. The river has always been an important mode of communication for the community, and they use different types of boats. So they'll have small little boats, speedboats, that will get you around, and then they'd have longer, bigger ships which could sail out to sea. And so you have different boats for different purposes. Nowadays, they've got a fire station, so the fire station has special fire boats, the hospital has special hospital boats. Evelyn's saying, so most households in Kampong Ayer have cats. I did see cats who were wandering around. I went around a couple of times and did see some. They've also got a mosque, and even a school, so everything that you need. Here's one of the houses that is falling into disrepair, but right you can see on some sides there's buildings that are completely in disrepair and need to fall down, and then you've got others that are in wonderful condition. That just adds to the authentic feel of the place. So let's talk about social changes. The introduction of the residence system in Brunei in 1906 saw efforts being made to move Brunei town to the mainland. This move changed the social and economic status of Kampong Ayer's community. Those who used to be dependent on fishing, making handicrafts, wood collecting, cloth weaving, left behind their traditional occupations. Another unique feature of the Kampong Ayer community was the presence of floating markets, which existed until about the 1950s. These markets were supplied the daily needs of the community. Yeah, so you can see there's some pipes there, so we'll talk a little bit about the infrastructure, because everybody living here has access to electricity and clean water. So Kampong Ayer is equipped with basic yet modern infrastructure. It receives a substantial annual budget from the government due to its status as a national landmark. Each house is supplied with electricity and clean water. Police stations, a fire station, clinics, as well as a primary, secondary, and religious schools have been built. Mosques are also built for residents to perform their religious obligations and provide a place for relevant social activities. Wooden or concrete bridges link the houses and community, and the community also uses boats for transport. So for about one Brunei dollar, and I think we'll probably go on one at the end, you can take a little ferry back to the mainland. So telephone lines, sanitation, rubbish disposal, petrol stations, grocery stores, tourist center, a community hall, and a postal service are some of the amenities available here. So economic activities in Kampong Ayer are mainly focused on fishing and the production of handicrafts that have created job specialization in different villages. And this has resulted in the villages being named after the products and the economic activities found there. So Kampong Ayer is split into different districts, and each district has a special skill that they're really good at. Fishing is usually carried out on the waters of Brunei Bay. And boat making is still carried out on a smaller scale for repair of fishing boats and water taxis. And the boats with motorized engines are now used as water taxis. Oh, there's the cat. Yeah, there's the cat. Quick. So Lethargy's asking who maintains the wooden slats. They get an annual budget from the government, and so some of that goes towards making sure that the slats are replaced. So since the early 20th century, there's been a decline in traditional handicrafts, and as a measure towards the revival of these skills and cultural heritage on the mainland, and you can actually, I think you can visit here as a tourist, the Brunei Arts and Crafts Training Center has been established. The center conducts courses on traditional handicrafts such as cloth weaving, crafting of brass, iron, and silver, as well as weaving and song, and just that they saw that all the handicrafts were going into decline. They wanted to keep those skills and transfer them to the new generation. So the government specifically built a center for arts and handicrafts. The center has provided an opportunity for the younger generations of Brunei to inherit the skills of making traditional handicrafts. The results of such efforts can now be seen in the capital, Bandar Seri Begawan. There's one of the speedboats. So for just $1 Brunei dollar, that's just over $1 US, you can come and visit Kampong Ayer, and it will take you less than a minute to get across the river to the floating village. When I was walking along here, I was very careful, each step I took was slow and methodical. I didn't want to, walking on the cement was fine, but walking on those wooden slats, you just have to be a little bit careful. Bandar Seri Begawan. Yeah, my pronunciation may be a little bit off, but that's the capital of Brunei. So if you want to come and visit Kampong Ayer, it's really, really easy for foreigners to come. All you need to do is walk to, if you'll most likely be in the capital of Bandar Seri Begawan, and you just walk to the water, and there'll be some steps, and there's boats coming up and down all the time. You just raise your hand, a boat will come, you give them $1 Brunei dollar, and they'll just drop you off somewhere. You can tell them where you want to be dropped off, or you can just point somewhere and they'll drop you off there. And now, as you can imagine, it's a very tropical area. So you've got these beautiful trees and mangrove swamps growing. Oh, there's another word. But of course, it's very, very hot and humid. So they've built these nice shady areas so that people can get some relief from the sun. Now, being built on water doesn't keep you safe from fires, and there have been fires in the past here at Kampong, Ayer, and so they do have a fire station to put out fires. And they've now got a mixture of modern houses. So I've just shown you the old houses, but they have got modern houses. I think you can see them on the left here. This is on the left side, you can see them. So these are newly built modern houses, but they don't have the charm that the houses on the right have. There's just something very charming about these old style houses, each one looking completely different, as opposed to the new ones here on the left, which all look the same. Now, the new ones on the left hand side, there's two types. There's a double story and a single story, and the government subsidizes them because they want to encourage people to move into the new ones. And so if you are a local, you can get one for a good price. There's no real cost to coming to visit. You just pay your $1 and you can come explore yourself. You'll find little local shops here, and even you can, if you want to stay the night in Kampong Ayer, there's some B&Bs that you can stay at as well. And just now, of course, you're probably wondering where are the people. I visited during the time when everyone was fasting, and of course, so everyone is quite tired, I imagine. Oh, I love these colors. And so you wouldn't see anybody, not too many people outdoors at that time. People are staying home, especially because it's quite hot and humid, and on top of that, everyone is fasting. There you can see, so straight ahead is the fire station, and then on the left hand side you can see that little turret. That's the mosque. Here you get a real sense of the scope and size of the village. It is really quite massive, and big enough that it's split up into different districts. Now, I did come here a while ago, and I'm not quite sure. I hope I included a video of the at the end where we jump on one of the speedboats and go back to the mainland. I can't remember if I filmed that or not, but I'm just looking at your comments. Lynn says, postmen and women must have a fun time delivering mail. Oh, there's another speedboat. Oh yeah, well spotted. I see you spotted them drying fish here. Yeah, they dry fish outside. That is the same here in Hong Kong. in the fishing villages here. So Neil's saying better not be drunk on those paths. Well, being a Muslim country, no one's allowed to drink, so they don't have that problem. And if you ever find yourself on the island of Borneo, I really recommend that you, firstly, you may need a visa, so check your nationality and apply for a visa. There's the firehouse. And it's very easy for myself in Hong Kong to apply for a visa. And oh, there's another speedboat, and they make it very simple to come. So you'll get a visa, and then I recommend if you are in Borneo, especially in the Malaysian side of Borneo, it's only about a 25-minute flight from Kota Kinabalu. Yeah, we won't be seeing anybody eating today. Yeah, it's about a 25-minute flight from Kota Kinabalu, and yeah, a nice way to get a better sense of Borneo. Borneo itself is actually divided into 3 different pieces. One part is owned by Malaysia, the other part, the smallest part, is owned by Brunei, and then the other half is owned by Indonesia. So 3 different countries sharing the same massive island, each with their own unique history and cultures. Yeah, so if there is any fire, which can happen because it does get very hot there, the fire department here will bring their fire boat and put out that fire. And here we are on the mainland. This is the mosque that people from Kampong Ayer visit, and on our left hand side is where you can take a boat. And so we'll jump on a little boat. I think we're gonna jump on a little boat, and there you can see one speeding past. So there's many of these little stops around, and the boats are always around, so it's very easy to get back to the capital. You can just stop, get down into one. There's a driver waiting. Oh, we're gonna go in one. Awesome. So now we can get the view from the water of this beautiful floating village. So yeah, there you can see these blue signs indicating the electrical cables that feed electricity to the whole village. And then there's also, I think you may have noticed during the tour, there's some piping that's delivering fresh water. And this little boat ride only takes about a minute or 2 to get to the mainland, but it provides just another way to be able to see this amazing village, a new perspective. There we go, under a bridge. So let me tell you what I've got planned for the next couple of weeks. Coming up next week, I still need to schedule it, but we're going to Angkor Wat, the main temple of Angkor Wat. That's going to be an amazing highlight. And then 2 other live streams I've got planned are a walk around an area called Sham Shi Po, and we're going to learn some of the secrets of this, one of the oldest districts in Hong Kong. That's going to be a live stream, so I will be live with you. We'll go at sunset. And the final live stream that I've got planned is one where we're going to see a special art installation on Hong Kong Island. I'm going to pre-record that because they play music, and so YouTube, it's very hard to do live stream when there's music, so I'll pre-record that so we don't hear the music, so I'll be able to live stream without any issues. There you can see the main mosque of Brunei, and here we are. See, it takes about a minute to get across, and really nice way to get around and see Brunei. So thank you so much for joining me. Those are the next 3 live streams we've got planned. After that, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, but I'll be going back to South Africa and I'll be filming a lot more there, and so expect to see parts of South Africa that you haven't seen, that I haven't shown previously, things that are actually quite difficult to get signal to, so I'm going to pre-record some stuff when I'm there. So I'm going to take a couple of months break after these next 3 live streams, and then I'll be back with amazing content from South Africa. So if you're not subscribed to Buy Me a Coffee, just subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, but I'll be sending out an email in the next couple of days that's going to list of the next couple of tours I've got planned, and I usually send out an email every couple of months with a list of what's happening. So if you want to ask me anything about Brunei, feel free to ask me now, or anything else. Otherwise, I'll say Evelyn is saying safe travels home, and Susan says thanks Matt, that was fascinating, and then says thank you Matt. Oh, Evelyn's just said that even if you're from Indonesia, which is on Borneo, you also need to get a visa for Brunei. Let me just see if I uploaded the picture. Oh no, I didn't. So I thought I had uploaded the picture of one of the tours, but yeah, I'll be, just subscribe to me on Buy Me a Coffee, and I'll put everything else in the Facebook groups and on the other calendars and all that as well. Great, so really excited for next week. We're gonna go to the main temple of Angkor Wat. It's gonna be mind-blowing and just a very spectacular tour. That's what's happening next week. And we're also gonna be going live, like I used to do, like live on location. We'll be doing that. So the timing of my next tour will be the Hong Kong tour is gonna be a little bit different. It'll probably be about 4 or 5 hours before this time. So usually I've been having it this time, but for that tour it's going to be about 4 or 5 hours before, so we can get the see the sunset. Great, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and join the Facebook group. I put a lot of extra information there. If you want to find out more, check that out. All the links are on my profile on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed seeing this unique spot. If you came a little bit late, just you can scroll back to the beginning and see what you missed. And yeah, see you soon. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week, same time, same place, and have a good week. Cool. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.